Okay, somebody's not going to mute. I'm hearing shuffling of papers.
Do I get
Mute, I'm hearing. There it is, see? Very good. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Judge Bonnie Dangel. It is my privilege and honor to be judge of the 171st Judicial District Court. It is 1:02 p.m., 7/9/2020. As everybody knows, we are in the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic, and the Texas Supreme Court has allowed courts to hold hearings via Zoom and YouTube Live. If there's anyone out there that objects to this proceeding via Zoom and YouTube Live, can you please verbalize that objection right now? I want the record to reflect that there is no objection. At this point, I want to tell you that my court reporter is present. For those of you participating, Ms. Garza, as well as Rebecca Gonzalez, and as well as Rick Salazar. That is my bailiff. Now, there's to be no recording. There's to be no recording of these proceedings. Remember, the only recording is going to be the official court reporter record. If anybody does record, just realize that you could be held in contempt of court. I want everybody to know that we are participating on YouTube Live to comply with the Texas Open Courts provision. There is an options bar at the bottom, everybody. If you want to participate and be part of a breakout room, or you want to consult with your client or chat to somebody, just ask my permission. I'll be more than happy to give it to you. Now, with all of those disclaimers, with all of those instructions, is there anyone here that does not understand the instructions or that does not want to continue participating in this process? Verbalize that right now or forever hold your peace. Let the record reflect that there are no objections. I was telling Mr. Brady off the record, today is his lucky day. He is number one on the docket. For this afternoon, court calls numbers 2019 639 3529 and 2019 3863. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
I'm ready for Mr. Salcedo. We're ready, Your Honor.
Good, and Mr. Salceda is right there with you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very well. Now, Mr. Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've already given an offer, right?
Yes.
In this case, Mr. Brady, what are you thinking about that offer?
We're inclined to go to trial at this point, Your Honor.
What was the offer?
Go ahead, David.
Yes, sir. On the 3863 case, Your Honor, man delivery, we were going to reduce that to a second degree and give 2 TDC. And on the state jails, the recommendation was 6 months confinement state jail.
Okay, so you're declining. Are you even inclined to give a counter, Mr. Brady, or not?
Not at this point, Your Honor. I haven't discussed any counters with my client.
Okay, sir. Well, maybe it would be worthwhile to discuss, even if it's probation, even if it's misdemeanor. I mean, I would like there to be some kind of exchange and attempt to settle it, right?
Yes, I understand that, Judge.
I'm sorry?
I will talk with my client and email Mr. Nunez and any counter proposals if that would meet with your approval.
Very good. Now, I guess at this point, I think it may be, and I know you're diligent and you're going to do that, Mr. Brady, but maybe we don't need to set this up anymore. We'll just put it on the trial track. If you guys reach an agreement, you let me know and we'll plea him. If not, then it's there on the trial.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? So we'll do that. Mr. Nunez, is there a last offer? I know you like counter offers, but is there a last offer that you can give that maybe Mr. Brady can't refuse?
Your Honor, I mean, it's pretty sweet enough. I think it's pretty good as it is.
Okay, sir. That's fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, gentlemen, then this is going to be put on the trial track unless you, Mr. Brady, tells us that you've reached some kind of an agreement, okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, and I'm open to any counter offers, but I mean, I think I'm going to stand from where I'm at.
I understand. Mr. Brady, anything else in this case?
Nothing from us, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Have a great day.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. The next one is Faith Cabrales. It's public defender. Mr.
That's me, Your Honor.
Very good. At this time, court calls cause number 2019-1567. Faith Cabrales, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Felix Castañon for Ms. Cabrales, ready as well, Your Honor.
And she's not participating here. Do you waive her presence?
I do, Your Honors. I gave her the information and she knew about it, but sometimes she struggles with this kind of thing.
Yeah, she's not present. She's not present. So, okay, you're going to waive it. I don't remember this case having any offers. You have an offer, Mr. Castañon?
I believe so, Your Honor. She was supposed to complete parenting and anger management, and then I guess provide proof that she's seeking, I guess, mental health. But we did the anger management, we did the parenting, but in her particular situation, it's IDD. She has a learning disability, so there's not necessarily any medication or counseling that she can do. She has been seen by EHN, but as far as I know, it's only IDD, Your Honor.
Are you okay with that, to give a dismissal to?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. We could have gotten this one done probably before the case went by, Your Honor, so I apologize. But I'm typing it up now, and Mr. Castañon did send me.
Send it to me. Perfect. You're going to get a dismissal, Mr. Castañon.
I'd rather wait to do it now, Your Honor. That way I can look like a hero amongst all my colleagues. So.
See, there it is. Look at that. And on YouTube Live.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Congratulations, sir. Thank you very much. You may be excused.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
No problem, sir.
Getting that dismissal soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carlos Flores, is that yours, Mr. Castañon?
No, Judge,
That's
that's
Mr.
mine.
Vasquez.
Ah, very good. At this time, court cause number 2019-2385, Carlos Flores. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. The state is ready.
Colonel Vasquez of the defense, we're ready, Your Honor. And I waive the presence of my client. I spoke to him this morning, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Do you have an offer from the DA's office, Mr. Vasquez?
No, Judge, we were appointed to this case last week. I understand there's been a long history in this case. I believe that there was at some point it was deferred, then it went to a straight, according to my client's version. And now that I think is heading to trial, I'm not sure, Judge.
Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor. The recommendation in this case is 5 deferred if he pleads to the misdemeanor cases and with full restitution in all cases.
5 defer, pleading to all the misdemeanors?
Yes, and that is under straight probation.
Oh, wait.
So misdemeanors are straight and the felonies
Correct, Judge.
Yeah.
deferred. Okay.
Okay, so misdemeanors straight, and okay.
That's not too bad, Mr. Vasquez.
Well, Judge, I don't have access to the case yet. I tried to access portal. I haven't read the evidence. I have the version of my client. I'm not sure is it the same that the DA has, but I believe that it's more like heading to trial. I'm not sure at this point, Judge. He doesn't want to take.
What are the facts?
In this case, if you recall, this is the defendant who also had the case with the Segovias, where we brought CWs in, and we ultimately, it was Bill McGlashan's client, and we ended up dismissing those cases. But then this case was literally filed towards the end of that case that I just mentioned. So there's a little bit of a history with this defendant, and the allegation is that he was given a job to do car work. He was in like a body shop or worker, and he was given the CW's vehicle, who's a soldier at Fort Bliss, and he just basically never returned the vehicle. I mean, that's literally the gist of it. It's been a while since I've gotten read all the details, but that's the gist of it, Judge. That's a quick summary.
Doesn't jar my memory. This isn't one that I thought it was. Okay. Okay, Mr. Vasquez.
What I understand, Judge, and again, I don't have the full discovery, so I'm not sure. But what I understand from my client is that he was supposed to do a work, and he did the work. he just was paid only just like 80% of the amount, something like that. And then the rest, apparently the complaint witness said that he didn't want to pay, and then they got stuck. And that's been 2 years.
Pay me the whole 100% until I give, then I'll give you your
Yeah.
car.
That's what I understand. Again, I haven't confirmed yet. I'm trying to get some evidence for Mr. Nunez, trying to get the invoices.
Yes, that's it. That's what we
I
need.
think that will clarify the situation before I can tell you the whole story, basically.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because
And
if
you're-
you have an invoice that, and then you have a payment less than the amount of the invoice, there
Yep.
are valid mechanics lien there. There could be a valid lien there. Go ahead.
And Your Honor, I have pre-trial with this CW. I do not believe that story. I know that the CW stated he would just want to see the vehicle. Hey, he would pay in increments and he'd be like, can I go check out the work? Can I just see how it's done? I'm not trying to take the vehicle or anything like that, but he would not let him see it. He would not let him see it. And he kept just taking the payment. And then on top of that, Judge, he would give him dates saying, hey, it's going to be done, let's say January 1st. He would show up January 1st. 30 more days, he wouldn't even be able to see the vehicle at any point in time. And this went on for weeks and months at a time. So if I'll be willing to do a bench trial, absolutely, Judge, if he believes his client that much and the client believes in that story that much and that he can prove it, by all means, let's do a bench trial on that.
Let's do a bench trial, Mr. Vasquez.
Yes, Judge. Well, before I just want to, my client said that he can provide the invoices. So before I go into the details and I can substantiate my version, I need to see something so I can just analyze the case. This morning I discussed the case with him. This is what he said, but I don't even want to just discuss the whole details just because I need to see the paperwork first so I can have a reasonable discussion.
Makes sense. Let's set this up for a settlement conference in 30 days. That gives you time to look into the case and see, right?
Yeah. And yes, I would like to get access to portal, Judge. I don't know why I'm not there yet.
You went to appearance?
Yes, I don't know. The felony is linked to the misdemeanor. Is it the same case? Or is it a different case?
They're different cases. I believe they're definitely apart from the felony case we have here. And I don't know whether those two individual misdemeanor cases are linked or not. But I do know that they're county attorney cases, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. So I think 30 days. You're barely involved. You don't even have access to the portal. You're right, Vasquez. You need a little bit of time to look at everything. Okay, sir. 30-day settlement conference. You're okay
Perfect,
with it?
Judge.
Very well. You may be excused on this case. Did you have another one, Mr.?
No, Judge, that's it.
Thank you, sir. You may be
Thank you.
excused. Be safe, sir. Thank you. I don't think Christopher Anchondo, is anybody out there for Christopher Anchondo? That's the next case.
Judge, no, I'm gonna reset that one because Mr. Anchondo had a doctor's appointment today.
Very good. Thank you, Miss Becky. Kathy Villas is the next one. Mr. Ruben Nunez, court cause number 2019 4082, 4083, and 5916. Council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage is ready.
Ruben Nunez on behalf of the defendant. The defendant is ready.
And Ms. Diaz, you're there. I'm asking you to unmute. Ms. Diaz?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay, very good. Do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen, Ms. Diaz?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. And Mr. Nunez, Ruben, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
Yes, that is Ms. Diaz.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, where are we in this case? Do we have an offer made, Mr. Nunez, or not? David Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor. From what I see here, it's 5 years deferred probation, all cases to run concurrent, $100 fine, $100 of community service, restitution to victim if applicable, UABA curfew, parenting classes, and that is it, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Ruben Nunez, what do you think?
Judge, I had requested and this court granted the appointment of an investigator last month.
Okay.
We're still in the investigative phase. I am not ready. There are 2 cases involving motor vehicles. Well, the unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, it's my understanding that it was taken by someone other than my client. And so I have my investigator working on both of those cases. And so I'm gonna need some time.
Okay, sir. Okay. You think you want 30, you want 30 more days, 45 more days, Mr. Rubin? You tell me.
60 days, Judge.
60? Okay.
It's hard to get in touch with witnesses when
Okay,
it's
sir.
COVID, nobody wants to talk to us.
Okay, sir. We'll give you, we're not running a trial, you know, we're not going to trial, so yes, sir. I'll give you
Yes,
60 days if you want 60 days. We'll reset this in 60 days. Mr. Ruben Nunez, anything else?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Mr. David Nunez, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Ms. Diaz, thank you for participating. Be safe, everybody. You may be excused.
Call me,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Diaz.
I will. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. The next one is Veronica Bachla, 2019-4607 and 2023. And that's my please.
State is ready. Mary, David.
Good afternoon,
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Enrique Martin on behalf of Ms. Pachla. I just visited her at the annex this morning and I'm waiving her presence, Judge, but we are ready.
Thank you. Ms. Carmona, do you have a rec in this case? Or have
Yes, Your Honor. I believe the rec was relayed to defense counsel, I think yesterday by Mr. Aaron Setliff. But the defendant has several cases, felonies and misdemeanors, but on the felony ending in 0360, it's a plea to the assault on a public servant, 3 TDC, and dismiss the possession less than a gram. And on the case ending in 4607, the plea again to the assault on a public servant, 3 TDC, and dismiss the assault family violence enhanced. And then we were requiring her to plead to 3 misdemeanors, credit for time served, and dismiss 3 misdemeanors.
misdemeanors, credit for time served, and then you dismiss. Oof, she's got a lot of cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
What are you thinking about that, Mr.?
Your Honor, I spoke with my client this morning, and she had originally been offered probation and then an assault against a police officer. She was indicted on that, and she was going to plead to probation, but then those new cases came up. So in her mind, she's still wanting probation, and I know the state's not wanting to do that. I am authorized by her to do a counter of 2 years TDC if they're willing to go down 1 year. She has been in jail for a little bit over 8 months, and she's eager to get out because she has a baby boy at home and her mom's taking care of her baby and she hasn't seen him in all this time. I think she had just given birth and she was arrested. So she hasn't had any time to bond at all with her child. And she's requesting that the state consider 2 years TDC. She did try to help the state, giving them some information as to sex trafficking because she had been a sex trafficking victim since she was about 16 years old. But the state didn't find that information worthy or something that they would like. But anyways, she is requesting that the state please consider 2 TDC. She's been in jail over 8 months and she wants to get home to her baby.
Okay. Ms. Carmona, is 2 years something you guys might consider?
Your Honor, I did talk to Mr. Setliff yesterday, about what we were willing to offer. We had originally offered 4, and so we went down to 3. Taking into consideration the arguments that defense counsel has made to us. He's made the same arguments to us as he's made to you. But I mean, basically, she bit a police officer and, struck a police officer in another case. And we just really kind of feel like the amount of cases that she's picked up and the type of cases that 3 TDC is appropriate for this case.
Is appropriate. Okay. Okay. Can you go up half a year? Can you go down half a year to 2.5? To try to resolve this case, or still no? You're sticking.
I think that's fine, Your Honor. If it would result in a plea quickly, I know she's not really going anywhere. She's, she's got to serve the time. If it's something that the defense can talk to her and get us an answer quickly, then yes, I'll do 2.5.
There it is, 2.5. I don't think it's not going to get better than that, Mr.
I agree with you, ma'am. I will discuss it with her, but if you want to go ahead and set it up for a plea, I believe it's something she'll be willing to take. She just wants to get out and see her son.
Excellent. Let's get this up for a plea. She's in jail. Ms. Becky, let's do this whenever we can. As soon as possible, we'll do that. Thank you both. Thank you both.
Thank you. Dana,
Judge,
thank you. Dana, thank you for being so reasonable. I appreciate your help this afternoon.
And Your Honor, this is the only case I had. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you both.
And Judge, before you excuse him, as soon as Mr. Martin gets the paperwork filled out, because she is at the jail, then that's when I'll set him, because
Hang on.
Ma'am.
Okay, I've muted everybody because I'm tired of that noise. Now, unmute Mr. Martin and unmute Ms. Carmona. I want to figure out where that noise was coming from that was grating on my nerves, and Miss Anita probably couldn't even hear. Mr. Enrique Martin, unmute, please. And Ms. Carmona, unmute. There you are. And Mr. Martin, good. That noise was grating on me. So somebody had lots of feedback. So I muted everybody. So repeat what you said, Mr.
But
Martin.
what I was saying, Judge, was because since they're having a lot of problems on the pleas, on the jail calls, that as soon as Mr. Martin gets that paperwork signed and everything from her, since she's at the jail, then I'll set it as soon as possible that Friday.
Okay.
And I will work to get the paperwork to Mr. Martin and make sure that we get it to him, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Be
Thank
safe.
you.
Okay, have a good afternoon. Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. Rick, where's that feedback coming from?
Mr. Martins. It was from Mr. Martins.
Okay. Phew. Let me. Mr. Martin, I'll go ahead and remove you because I think you're the one with all the exterior noise there. Okay, Joshua Lucero, Sebastian Nunez, 2019-5553. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Sebastian Nunez here on behalf of Mr. Lucero. Ready, Judge?
And Mr. Lucero is participating. Mr. Lucero, you don't have audio.
Judge, he just called our office and let us know that he was having technical difficulties. For some reason, it was going in and out, but I just saw him on right now. Okay. He called my office, which he's actually on hold right now, which is why I think he's not currently on video.
So do you wait?
I do wait, Judge. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Did you get an offer to see?
We did, Judge. I had spoken to David about this case, or Mr. Nunez. I had spoken to him about the case with regards to the current offer, which is, and if I'm not mistaken, 10 straight probation. Am I right, Mr. Nunez?
I thought we went to deferred, but I'll say deferred.
Okay.
There it is. You see? Better already.
Yes, Judge.
Now I'm letting Joshua Lucero in again. I'm trying to get in,
okay.
Sebastian, okay? I just want to let you know. I'm trying to let, he's in right now. So okay, so you talk to him about the deferred now. You got it.
Mr. Lucero, and then I had actually okay, I think it's connected now. I had actually spoken to Mr. Lucero on Friday. We had informed him about the current rec, obviously, and then I'll inform him about the 10 deferred, which I believe it's 10 deferred, right, Mr. Nunez?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have informed him, and that's something that I'd like to talk to him about, Judge, in private. With that being said, I think we're of the position that we still want to go through with the case and fight it. So I do not believe he will be accepting the deal. However, I would like to obviously confirm with him in private just to make sure. However, I think I apologize, Judge.
No, of course. I understand you have to speak to him about the latest offer. Hang on a second. He's participating. He's here. Mr.
Okay.
You need to unmute, please. Mr. Lucero, okay. You need to unmute. Can you unmute? Okay, he's not.
Yes, Judge, I think he still is having technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties, okay. So go ahead, you want me to set this up for one more settlement conference, Mr.?
I mean,
Or you want me to
no,
put the trial docket and then?
just on the trial docket, Judge, please, because in all honesty, after speaking with him last week, I think that is what we're going towards. So I think that's something that we would like to, and obviously I'll get in contact with Mr. Nunez about the latest offer, and if anything changes, we'll be more than happy to set it for a plea if it gets to that point.
Exactly, very good.
I'm on mute.
Mr. Joshua Lucero?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there you are, sir. Next time you participate, try to participate with your audio, okay? I'm sorry, with your video.
Yes, I did. I did put in my video because I was seeing right now the court going on, but I don't know what happened.
You're not participating with video. They can see you.
I'm sorry?
You're not participating just because you can see us. You're not participating with video.
Let me check it out.
I can't see your face. Mr. Lucero, that's okay. Taking care of your case. Just contact your attorney and we'll talk to you about what happened.
Okay.
Judge, I'm sorry, this is Rick. I believe the court reporter's having more issues, and I think it's coming from Mr. Nunez, Sebastian Nunez's feedback.
I know, Mr. Nunez, what's happening?
I mean, there's no background noise here, Judge. I'm not sure if it's just part of the app, or I'm not sure because there's nobody around me and no background noise, but I'll go ahead and mute while you talk, Judge.
Well, I don't have anything else to say. I was just going to say goodbye, put it on the trial track, and that's it. Will you waive, because your client, because the hearing is over, will you waive identification of each other for purposes of this hearing, Mr. Sebastian?
Yes, Judge, I do.
Okay, because we would have to spend a little bit more time. Okay, you're a diligent attorney, sir. If you should reach an agreement, call Becky. We'll put it on the plea list. If not, we're going to put it on the trial list. Is there a time limit, Mr. David Nunez? There's too many Nunez attorneys now. Holy moly.
Till the next setting, Your Honor.
Till the next setting. Well,
or any counters that and I'm also open any counters that.
It's not going to be the next setting because we're going to put it in the trial list.
Got you, Judge.
You want to give him a time limit and that's it, or you want to keep it open?
You know what? I'll just leave it open, Judge.
Okay, great.
Judge, I'll get in contact with Mr. Nunez within the next week or so, and by then we'll have a for sure answer.
Thank you, guys. You may be excused.
Thank you very much, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Nunez.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Enriquez Hernandez, 2019-5571. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Carl DeCotes for Luis Hernandez, ready. Afternoon.
Hi, Mr. DeCotes. Mr. Hernandez is not participating. Do you waive his presence, Mr. DeCotes?
Yes.
Okay.
DeCotes Nunez.
I'm sorry?
DeCotes Nunez.
Oh, God, no. Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's painful. Mr. DeCotes, do you have a wreck in this case?
You know, the last I recall, it was 4 years to do, and that's kind of why we're here.
Okay. Is it 4 years to do? Is that your last wreck, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, I have 3 TDC.
Okay.
Oh, it's a little better.
Yeah. So we were geared. You
have a counter, Mr. DeCotes, or what are you thinking about that?
Yes, Judge. Just to give you some quick context, we were geared up to plea. I had probation in my head, so I was thinking we were going to plea. We were all going through the plea, and then it's like, oh, well, he needs to go to TDC. So we broke the plea, and I'm hoping that we can eventually get to probation. He allegedly ran from a cop in a nice car, and he went home. He has got a little bit of a history, and I understand the wreck, but I'm hoping for probation, and if not, we got to keep moving forward.
You think you can do probation in this case?
No, Your Honor. It's always been TDC. I've never thrown probation out there.
Can you think about what's his history? What's his history?
He has convictions for attempt to take a weapon from a police officer, assault on a public servant, Your Honor. There's also arrests for in cases for sexual assault. AFV, that one was dismissed though in 2003. I see a 2-count case here, Judge, where it says a sexual assault was dismissed, but then it says probation violation on the other count, and I have to see what that is and look more in depth into that, Judge. But to give a little bit of context into this case, Judge, I mean, we're talking about someone taking a Corvette, going over 100 miles an hour, weaving in and out of traffic. I mean, I can't get I don't remember the exact street, but we're talking going all the way to at least Artcraft and heading all the way back, all the way to Horizon, doing this kind of driving. We really endangered the public, and I feel that it's more than a fair enough to give TDC.
Okay. I think what we ought to do, Mr. Nunez sounds pretty adamant. Let's just put this on the trial track. Right? Should we just put this on the trial track, Mr. DeCotes, or what do you think?
No, that's fine with me.
Right?
I think this might be a good one for a bench trial.
What about a bench trial?
No, there's no need for a bench trial, Judge. Thank you, though. No, I gotta try to sway a jury on this one. The radio was too loud, Judge.
Okay, that was a good try. That was a good try, Mr. Martin. I keep forgetting about that, but he doesn't want a jury trial. Okay. No jury trial it is. Okay, very good.
All good?
Everything good. We're going to put it on the trial track and forget about this case. You've got a little bit of time or lots of time to try to work on the DAs to see if they'll, do probation.
Thanks for your time, Judge.
You may be excused, Mr. DeCotes. Have a great day. Stay safe.
Okay, you too. Take care.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Rafael Lara. Rafael Lara. That's Miss Caballero. Is she still coming?
No, Judge, that was the one that they agreed to a plea agreement, so she's going to get the plea ready, and then she had a federal case.
Great. Jean Johansson, 2019-7205. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Good afternoon, Judge. Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Johansson. We are ready.
Good. And are you waiving Mr. Johansson's presence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. Okay. What is the offer? What was the offer?
Offers 5 years probation, Your Honor.
And you're not thinking of taking it, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, in normal circumstances, we would certainly consider that. It is a reasonable offer, Judge, but there are kind of other factors. There's some mitigating factors. Mr. Johansson served in our military and was in Baghdad in 2006 and 2007, and he sacrificed a lot, and he's had some long-term effects from that. And I think that kind of explains a lot of this conduct. And there are some other things. Mr. Johansson obtained a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and he's doing well, Judge. And his line of work, the kind of line of work he wants to get into would require a security clearance, and a felony conviction would certainly ban him from that. So we're hoping we can get maybe 5 minutes with Mr. Nunez and talk to him about these issues, and we're basically wanting a misdemeanor, Judge.
Oh, that's what you want. Is there any way, shape, or form you can consider a misdemeanor in this case, Mr. Nunez?
I cannot, Judge. There is a history with him. I think 5 straight is more than fair given his history.
It's a gift.
It's a gift, Judge. I think the way it is, it's perfectly fine. And maybe if he didn't have the criminal history and this was, just one of those kinds of cases, we could talk about that and listen to those mitigating factors. But at the same time, I understand he's been in the military, but hey, we got to hold him accountable too. That's what I'll say about that.
Okay. Do you want to try another settlement conference in this case, or do you want to put this on the top?
I apologize for missing it. That was the detective on the search warrant case, so I apologize. I had to step away for a second.
That's okay, no worries.
But I'm sure Mr. Nunez said that Mr. Huffman emailed us like a package of this is for Mr. Johansson, I assume, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. That relating to Mr. Johansson's work history, his education history, it's very impressive. Obviously, you know, we appreciate his service in the military. We appreciate his education, all very, very, very laudable. But as Mr. Nunez pointed out, he was on felony probation. He got 10 years deferred probation, and I think he got early termination after 2 years. So that's good. But that was, you know, that was the break. You know what I mean? That was the break. But the fact of the matter is, you know, he did provide a voluntary sample, so I appreciate that. So what I'm willing to do is the rec right now is 10 years TDC probated.
Hang on. I hear background noise again. Mr. Rick, where is it coming from? Do you know?
That one was getting highlighted on David Nunez. It was, I think, Ivan's voice coming back into the speaker.
Sorry. If it was
no, not you. It was coming from Mr. Nunez.
Mr. Nunez. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Martinez. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, in light of that, you know, we can't go down to misdemeanor. We just can't do that. But what we can do is we can do, you know, right now it's 10 years TDC probated for 5 years. I can do 10 years TDC probated for 4 years. Right now it's $500 fine. We can waive the fine so that's zero fine. Right now we have 100 hours of community service. We can do 0 hours of community service with all the regular conditions.
Wow. That's pretty good. If he gave a blood sample, he gave a blood sample in this case?
He gave a breath sample. He gave a voluntary breath sample. He did. And it was not crazy. It was a 0.15, which is not great, but not, we've seen worse.
But
So
still over the legal limit.
Right. And so, but, you know, that, you know, I'm willing to work with him in that sense.
Mr. Huffman, I think this is as good as it's going to get.
You know, Judge, and that's a reasonable offer. I appreciate that, Mr. Martinez. I'll certainly convey that to my client. And maybe you'll hear us out and give us one last, you know, spiel for a misdemeanor, and maybe we can work this out, Judge. Maybe one more settlement conference might be useful here.
Might be useful. Very good. Okay. One more
Now that rec is only good until August 15th, Your Honor. So, you know, this is special summer rec, good for 1 month only. So August 15th, the rec expires. We go back to the original rec.
Hot summer special.
Yes.
It's a hot special till August the 15th, Mr. Hoffman, okay? And I think it's a pretty good deal. 0.15. Pretty good deal.
Oh yeah, normally, Judge, that certainly would be a great deal, and we're just really hoping for a misdemeanor, but it is, Judge, and I appreciate that offer, and we'll certainly let Mr. Johansson know.
See what you guys can work out. We'll set it up for one more settlement conference in, why don't we do 3 weeks? Because Mr. Martinez is giving us August 15th. So rather than 30 days, let's do 3 weeks.
Sure.
Where we're at. Okay, Mr. Huffman, is that good?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Good. Settlement conference in 3 weeks. Thank you, guys. You may be excused. Thank you. The last one is Pablo Rocha, Orlando Mondragon, 2020-771. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage is ready.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Orlando Mondragon on behalf of Mr. Rocha.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, are you going to waive Mr. Rocha's presence, or is he on?
He's on, Your Honor.
Mr. Rocha, talk to me. How are you this afternoon, sir?
Good, and yourself?
I'm good, sir. Do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. Mondragon, on the screen? Mr. Rocha?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. And Mr. Mondragon, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Do you have a rec in this case, Mr. Mondragon?
We have a rec, Your Honor, and I sent David a counter, and I was waiting for him to respond to the counter.
Okay. Mr. Nunez, respond to his counter right now if you can.
I haven't had the chance to conference with Mr. Martinez on this case yet, Your Honor. This is the case where the co-defendant is Christopher Gaitan. The allegation is that they go commit a beer run, and the co-defendant brandishes a folded pocket knife at the clerk. So that's basically the gist of it, Judge. And I can't make that call just yet, if at all. So.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, can you make that call right now, or you want time to look into it and think? Oh, Mr. Martinez? No, there he is. Maybe he's gone to go to the fridge to get a brownie.
No, Your Honor. Chicken mole, but thank you for asking.
Save one for me, please. Okay, Mr. Martinez, can you respond to Mr. Mondragon's counter offer? You want time, or you want to talk to Mr. Nunez, or can you respond now?
Judge, I'm not ready to respond just a second. You know, Mr. Nunez and I could just have an opportunity to discuss the case. We're not saying no, we just need a little more time.
Got it. Got it. You want 2 weeks, 3 weeks? How long?
2 weeks should be sufficient, yes, ma'am.
2 weeks. Okay. We're going to do this in 2 more weeks after this one. If it doesn't work out, then we just put it on the trial track. Okay, Mr. Mondragon?
That's fine, Your Honor.
2 week settlement conference reset. Okay, you have 2 weeks to convince them. More.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Convince them. Inundate their emails.
I'll try.
Thank you. You may be excused. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're done with our docket, right?
I believe so, Judge.
Yes.
We are done, Mr. Rick?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to get off of YouTube. Yes, and